And there in our green room is Stefanie Powers, looking beautiful and sophisticated, as she always does. Stefanie Powers has a lot in common with her TV alter ego, Jennifer Hart, of the hit series Heart to Heart. Both are stunning Renaissance women with a passion for making a difference in other people's lives. Both are smart, charismatic, committed, and very sexy. In her latest project, she serves as host of a PBS series called Funding Your Dreams. Please welcome Stefanie Powers.
Thank you.
They love you.
That's very nice. Thank you very much.
I know you were listening backstage to Hot Topics, and you had comments about things, so I wondered if any of them really hit you.
Well, it's interesting about this egg reproduction because, in effect, what we do in Africa, I work with a wonderful person called Dr. Betsy Dresser in animal reproduction, which is wild animal reproduction. You know, most of this technology came from the dairy and cattle industry when they were doing in vitro fertilization.
That we now use on people.
We now use it on people, and now we're trying to bring it back into reproduction of endangered wildlife, because the issue is that some of the animals are not in sufficient numbers in order to even consider the gene pool problems. And once we get the numbers built up, then we can consider how we refresh the gene pool.
You are so committed to Africa, and I know that it was William Holden, who was a great love of your life, who introduced you to so much of that. And after his death, you formed a foundation to sort of preserve what he believed in. Do you stay there now because of the memories of him, or do you stay there because you too have fallen in love with this place and can't get it out of your blood?
Well, you know, when somebody is that important in your life and they die, far from trying to get over somebody, I think that you then try to sort of make them a part of you and find a very comfortable place for them to live inside you, or live with you, their memory, keeping their memory alive, but not obviously dwelling on something that is absolutely gone from you. In this way, we were able to make his life kind of come to life again in actually realizing a dream of his, which was to back up all the specific animal preservation which was ongoing in the game ranch that he founded in 1960. We currently breed 37 species of game, but he always felt that education was the only way to back up specific animal preservation, because once you simply turn your back, if you say don't kill that animal, and then you turn your back and somebody kills that animal because you're not looking, education is the only way that will prevent that from happening.
Well, I think everybody that cares about the wildlife is very grateful that you are there and doing what you do. But when you're not there, from what I've read, you're going from place to place trying to catch up with your husband. A lot of people don't realize that you've been married for 5 years to a very handsome Frenchman. His name is Patrick. I want to make sure I pronounce his last name correctly.
Patrick de la Chenaie.
And he lives over there, and you spend most of your time here, so how does that work?
Well, it's interesting. It's a work in progress, I think. I suppose there are some people get married, or some people live together and don't get married. We got married because we don't live together. I think it sort of worked its way out.
Did you ever think that you'd have a marriage like that, though?
You know, we have completely separate lives that are completely unrelated to our businesses are unrelated, and in a lot of our lives are unrelated one to the other. We're joined together by mutual affection, love, and sensibilities. But in some instances, it doesn't make it practical for us to live together, because I have to do my business, he has to do his, and his is in France.
And he came with 2 teenage children that you are now stepmom to.
Well, they're now teenagers.
They're now teenagers, right.
We've been married for 5 years in April.
And how do you handle that?
Well, I don't, because number one, I don't live with him, and they don't live with him. They live with their mother. And when they have free time, I think it's essential that they get some very good time with him, apart from any time with me. So I sort of keep a distance and hope. We settled this a long, long time ago. I explained to them that I was not trying to take the place of their mother, that I'm in love with their father, and that I will always be there for them if they want me, if they need me for anything, but they have to be desirous of that. I'm not going to superimpose myself on them or try to change their lives, because they have, maybe one day we'll be able to be pals and friends, and I'll always be there for them, whatever they might need, or if they desire, but I feel that they must have that connection with him first. That's the most important thing that they need when they have the opportunity.
We mentioned when we introduced you a new project that you're involved in called Funding Your Dreams, which is I guess it's going to air all over PBS in March.
It airs all over the country.
And it's really sort of an educational program to teach people how to deal with their finances.
Yes, it sort of destroys some of the mythology that we can't take control of and determine our future. It also opens the door and creates a little roadmap into the options that are available for people, not just couples, but also women.
And especially for women who often don't know about finances, so it's a good thing.
Precisely, because, you know, there is this a strange illusion that the word independent woman is some kind of pejorative, negative term that
Not on this show, baby. No, on this show it's fine. We have to cut to a commercial, but we'll be right back with more of Stefanie Powers and our question of the day. Thank you. We can talk about it a little more when we come back. I love wrapping.
Exactly, light. Welcome back, everyone. We're here with Stefanie Powers, one of our favorite actresses who's visiting us today. And we thought that we'd do a question that goes along with our great love of the movies. And it comes from one of our viewers in Tulsa. And her name is, actually, her name is Tula Asalanis from Alameda, California. And she watches on, I know, I thought it was Tulsa. Her name is Tula Asalanis, and she watches on KGO TV in Alameda, California. And here is Tula's question.
I think Tula's Greek.
Is Tula a Greek name?
I think so. Anyway. Must be.
I know. I should have asked you how to say it, right? Anyway, the question is, what is your favorite line from a movie? I love this question. So we'll start with you, Stefanie.
Well, I can't help but remember this wonderful actor called Alfonso Bedoya, who is this great character actor in Treasure of the Sierra Madre, who was, there's the photograph, there he was. He came up and he was a bandido, and he kept posing as a federale, as somebody, and he kept saying, you know, I went to talk with you, and they said, well, show us your badge, and he said, finally, he said, we don't got to show you no stinking badges. Remember that? Stinking badges. That's it. And he opened his mouth, and there was a mouthful of all these silver teeth. And the true story about this is that when Alfonso Bedoya got this job to work in this great Hollywood movie, he went to the dentist and he got all his teeth fixed. And he showed up on location. I know this is a fact. He showed up on location. He was very proud to show John Huston his new teeth. He smiled, and John was absolutely destroyed because he was this great character actor who could play this bandido, and he had perfect teeth. So they had to pull out all the things, cover them all with silver things. And so when you see that movie now, and he smiles and says, "We not that to show you."
You must be kidding me. And we're complaining about the $5,000 for the eggs, and they pulled a man's teeth.
They pulled his teeth out.
Okay then. All right, Meredith, your turn.
All About Eve, and it would be the line at the party when Margot Channing, Betty Davis says, fasten your seatbelts, it's going to be a bumpy ride.
Betty Davis, great line.
And you played that, so you know.
That's right. Great. But also, a little piece of memorabilia, little known fact. The man who wrote and directed All About Eve was Joseph Mankiewicz. His son, Tom Mankiewicz, rewrote and directed the pilot of Heart to Heart.
Oh,
and I
small
grew up
world.
with it.
Wow. Real small world.
Oh,
Debbie?
Mine is from When Harry Met Sally, the famous cat delicatessen scene where they're sitting there, and the scene goes something like, and goes on, and then Rob Reiner's mother says, I'll have what she's having.
Really great scene. Wonderful scene.
Mine is from The Godfather. There are many, many lines from The Godfather, but one of the ones that I always love is when after Clemenza has Carlos killed. Carlo, the brother-in-law, who used to beat up his wife. One of the Corleone's girls, yeah. He says to, who does he say it to, Star? To Luca?
No, Luca was dead by then. He was sleeping with the fishes. Go ahead.
Yeah. Clemenza says, take the gun, leave the cannoli. No, leave the gun, take the cannoli.
Exactly. My favorite is also from The Godfather. I think James Caan is the best actor that I've seen play in any role. That's my favorite movie of all times, and he's in the Don study when Michael says that he wants to be the one to take the revenge, and he goes over to Michael, who's Al Pacino, of course, and he says, what do you think? You in the army? You can shoot him from a mile away? You got to get right up on him and bada bing, blood and brains all over your eyes. That's my favorite line. I love the guy.
How about from Godfather 3 when Pacino says, just when you think you're out, they pull you back in. That was another great one.
You can get the best lines from Godfather 1, 2, and 3.
From mafia movies, the fabulous.
Great movies. Thank you so much for coming to visit with us.
My pleasure.
We certainly do appreciate it. The series is called Funding Your Dreams. You guys watch for it on your local PBS station. And when we come back, we go under the knife with our gal, Michelle. Then gossip doesn't get very much juice.